Do you have an exam to do and wonder how are you going to study with all your responsibilities at home and at work? Do you wonder how those moms do it who have little kids and still get to do their exams? Do they have more than 24 hours in a day? I'm one of those moms, and I'm here to tell you that no, we don't. I'm going to share how I do it and how you can too. My name is Sissy and I'm a core psychiatry trainee working in the UK. I'm also a mom of two beautiful girls, Gabby who's nearly 4 and Jojo who's just 1. I've done 5 major exams since starting my journey to the UK. That's PLAB 1, PLAB 2, MSRA, MRC Psych Paper A and Paper B. I did all those exams either while pregnant, breastfeeding, about to have a baby, with a newborn, or with a toddler and a newborn, all under the age of 4. Remember before you had kids when you just say you're going to study for an exam and you just study and just do it? Oh, such simpler times. But now you can hardly go to the bathroom without having a kid follow you along. Especially when you live in the UK where it's just you and your husband to look after the kids. Not like back home where you have grandparents, you can have a nanny, you have help with the housework, help with the cleaning and cooking. Trust me, I get it. I'm going to share a few tips that have helped me along the journey. The first tip is to use question banks. When you're a busy mom trying to juggle mom life with work life like me, you probably don't have time to be studying in-depth detail, especially to be using textbooks and going very, very detailed. I feel like the time for that is long gone, at least for me anyway. Just go for the question banks. They give you a brief explanation at the end of the questions, and usually that's all you need to pass the exams. Obviously, there's going to be a time in your life where you need to go back and use the detailed textbooks, but for passing exams, I feel like that is not the way to do it. My next tip is to use the more expensive question bank. So usually, I don't know why, for some reason there's always 2 options or more. There'll be a cheaper version and a more expensive version. So usually for me, I usually get both. I get the cheaper version, and then closer to the exam I get the more expensive one, and I always regret it. Don't be like me, guys. Just go ahead and use the more expensive version, because most of the time there's a reason why it's more expensive. It's going to save you a lot of time and just get to the point. It will save you money in the long run as well. I'd rather pay for the question bank once than have to pay for the exam twice or even multiple times. My next tip is to give yourself more time. Be realistic and give yourself more time than people who don't have kids. Remember, only you know your struggle of leaving your day job, taking off your doctor hat, leaving your stethoscope at the door, only to go back home and put on your mom hat and have to do all your mom work. Sometimes you'll have to be the mom, the chef, the cleaning lady, and also the housekeeper at the same time. Probably the only time you have is like an hour or 2 after the kids go to bed. And other days you don't even have any time to study, and that's fine as well. So because of this, you need a longer time. So for me, I aim for at least 6 months, and I'm sure I probably would need like half that time or even less if I didn't have those blessings in my life. My next tip is to plan. You know what they say, if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. Have a good plan of how you're going to study. My own plan is that I first do system by system. So usually medical exams follow some sort of systems. I do one system and I finish it. When I've gone through all the systems, then I'll start doing questions randomly, and then I'll start doing mocks. So a practical scenario I'll give you. Most question banks have about 3,000 questions. If you split that between 30 days, then you're going to need to do about 100 questions per day to finish the entire question bank. That's a bit much for me. If you have 2 months, then you're going to need 50 questions per day to finish the entire question bank. If you have about 4 months, then you're going to need 25 questions per day. So usually for me, I aim for 6 months. I go through the entire question bank once and then I repeat it, because the more you repeat the question bank, the faster you're going to be at spotting the right answer. And remember, that is the aim of all this, is to pass the exams. The next tip is to do questions all the time. Any little time you can get, be doing questions. So when I used to commute to work using a bus or a train, I used to do my questions on the train, on the bus. So sometimes even during my lunch break, I'm doing questions. Other times I'll wake up really early before the kids are up, I'm doing questions. After they go to bed, I'm doing questions. I'm breastfeeding and I'm doing questions. If your kids have a set routine, then that's even perfect. If you have a kind of kids that nap on schedule, which unfortunately mine don't, but if yours do, then that's great. When your kids are napping, be doing some questions. Sometimes you feel a bit guilty, you know, with a mom guilt, that you're doing too many questions, you're taking so much time away from your kids. But at the same time, try and think about this as something you're doing for your whole family. It's not just for you. And exams are a pain, so the sooner you can do them and move on with your life, the better. Do mocks. Mocks give you an idea of your timing and also give you an idea of how well you're retaining information. So even before I start studying, sometimes I do a mock. The first thing is to do a mock and see where I'm at. How much more time will I need? So for instance, my last exam that I did, I first started off by doing a mock and I was getting 30%. So that just showed me that I needed a lot of time to study for the exam. I normally aim to get at least 80 to 90% by the time I'm going for the exam. This gives you more confidence in the content, and also you have a higher chance of passing. And finally, guys, be kind to yourself. With exam, it's either you pass or you fail. It's a 50-50. So if you do fail, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean you're a failure. Look at all you're doing. It's not easy being a working mom, especially in the diaspora. You're doing a great job. Just pick yourself up and try again. Remember, in the grand scheme of things, you're actually winning at life. If you're a psych trainee, then look out for my video in which I'll be sharing exactly how I passed the MRC Psych Paper A and Paper B. If you're looking to study the MSRA, then watch this video next.